Welcome. I created this tutorial for shape animation, which it's not correctly mentioned shape animation because it will take a picture and place it into a mesh, which we are going to animate by visibility. Here I have the layers separated, the happy face and standard face between layers, so I can turn them on and off. And you can see here in the render tree that its texture is being driven with an alpha channel with the different nodes, which basically have a gradient that gives its basic color, its base color rather. And you can see it here how it's created. This will enhance the effect of drawing, in this case with hard edges between color blendings, and you can manipulate that in order to have your base mesh color. With an incidence, I can create directional light illuminating this model mesh, in this case this sphere, and I can also select 180 degrees for the orientation of the surface to the light, surface and the lights, and have the bias and gain switch values, so I can make a harder color or softer color in this case, or return to my original aspects of the gradient. In any case, what we're going to do here is to envelope the sphere, the two spheres which contain two different images as textures, with the basic chain bone which I have here. So I'm going to switch to animation construction mode and will envelop this. Well, since it's not working directly from the menu, I guess I'm going to have to pick each bone separately so that I can envelope the happy face first. So here I go. I select the first bone and the second bone, right click, end session, and now they are both enveloped. So moving on, I'm going to turn off my face happy so I can just take my face standard right here in the preview. You can see here that if I rotate it, it will rotate accordingly. Now this is of course a really basic shape. You can have your own shape probably with your own picture. In this case, just like I told you before, I'm some sort of hiding the original mesh which had face standard with it, and turning on and off its visibility so you can see it here in the viewport. So now I'll try to show you how this goes into a pipeline of work. Probably one of the methods that you may find useful, for which I'm doing this video. In this case, I block the animation. When you start animating, it's better for you to start blocking stages of the animation. In this case, this little ball, an iron ball, it's trying to jumps from one location to another. And here I have the animation mixer, the animation editor, where I have my keyframes. But these keyframes are linearly distributed on the timeline. And now I'm going to switch here to the dope sheet because I need to rearrange the spacing between the jumps that this little face is going to do, this little ball. So right now I have this dope sheet pointing to my current character key set, and the way that I did this is by selecting the entire chain and the children hierarchy, and then I create a character key set right here on this side. By these options, I named it accordingly, and I see, and you will see, a lot of parameters come out on the property page. These are all the parameters that are ready for being animated. And here you can see I have already two sets. This one, an iron ball 2, was recently created for this sample, but I originally had another character key set, and with the right click over the timeline you can select specifically the keyframes for the character key set. So I'm going to remove an iron ball 2, which is not really going to help us right now. I already have my an iron bally original keyframe set, and here I set the timeline accordingly so that we can watch this little ball jump from one side to the other. So of course we need to anticipate, then we need to stretch it somehow it reaches the floor again, and you can see here that keyframes are linearly distributed. If I select Spline Interpolation, I'm going to have the usual animation from one point to another, which in time you need to manipulate so that it will fit timing accordingly. Right now it works fine because it's a simple animation, but as more elements tend to overlap to create more realistic movement, it's better for us to block the main stages silhouettes by making all this into constant, or in this case linear keyframes. So here I go back to constant, and now I'm trying to test the timing here. So it's all right. Yes, it bends, making a momentum to take flight, in this case to jump. And let's see if I move this over here. Yes, it's better, so it won't take too long to jump. Since the other keyframes were already in set, it's easier for me now to figure that it will fall immediately. And if you notice in the dope sheet, they are kind of almost distributed in the same time. It's like 4 keyframes of space in between them. So how do we work the previous part that we explained about replacing the shapes of the face, in this case the expressions of the texture, which will be correctly named? How do we work that? Well, I'm going to create custom parameter sets so that in this moment, when it's taking a previous momentum to jump, and I'm going to activate one of the layers that I already have, which is face happy. As you can see, they are overlapping in this moment. That's why you see all those squares there. It's not good. So what do we need to do? We need to animate its visibility. And like I said before, I'm going to go to the visibility tab, which is right here on this part, and view visibility. It's going to be animated through my custom parameter set, and also render visibility. So I'm going to create a null custom parameter set, give it any name, in this case controls, and a new custom parameter which will have a Boolean expression, rather a Boolean function. I'm sorry, a Boolean parameter. That will be the correct term, because we want to animate and we want to make keyframes out of it. So we invoke this. It's up here in the screen. Here we go. I have it right here. I'm gonna go back to my dope sheet, which will really tell me when the appropriate moment will be for hiding it and making it visible again. So now I'm creating the second parameter, which will be for face happy, which is also a Boolean value. So I have my two parameters ready to be connected to the appropriate values over the visibility and the render visibility. View visibility in the viewport and render visibility for, render. So just drag and drop those debuts. Actually, the one debut that says face standard over the head that we were previously animating, which will originally disappear, so that happy face, in this case the momentum phase, the anticipation phase, will take place. So again, I'm going to activate the property page with its full values by pressing Alt and Enter, and then it will give me this whole set of options, including visibility. So once again, I'll select it because I don't think it was originally selected. I'll turn this off on the layer manager and go back to find it. Here it is. Yes. So now I drag and drop this debut from visibility face happy to render visibility and view visibility. And the reason for that is because I want to create an equals expression that goes right from that property panel into my original mesh visibility and render visibility. So now all it's left to do is just calculate the precise moment when we will be needing this animation to take place. And for that, we're going to keyframe this. I'm sorry, this one did not connect, so okay, here we go. Actually, because I'm recording, the machine is a little bit slow. Okay, so here we go again. I can see the faces, and I will activate them both in the layer manager, but now I'm controlling their original appearance, visibility rather, from this custom parameter set I created with visibility face standard and visibility face happy, which will allow me to animate them through time and create the expressions with my textures on a mesh. So you figure that if you had, let's say, about 15 different expressions for the face, yes, you will have 15 different meshes for that face. But good news is that Softimage won't calculate any other face or any other shape or any other mesh that is not present at the moment of the render. So you can have as many faces as you want, and Softimage will not slow down. This is good news if you want to take this road for animating, in this case, face textures with their original alpha channels over one geometry in this case. So here we go. First stage, second stage, anticipation. Here's where I need to close the face eyes, and it's gonna jump. We need to make it a forceful jump. Then it reaches the floor again, and finally open her eyes. Yes, it's a her. I was trying to create some sort of a anime character before. And you know how all those magic girls and mecha girls are. Who knows, maybe next tutorial I'll do something about, transforming canyons as mech, robots and stuff. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea. So here it is. You now have a jumping phase. In this case, as the simplest of the models I could come up with, and you can see here in the animation. I'm sorry, on the dope sheet. Sorry, the animation editor. That we still have our linear animation. So if we turn back to Spline Interpolation, let's check out how this did on its own. Alright, there we go. It jumps, falls, and opens the eyes. Now, visibility, since it's animated by interpolating, spline animation, it slowly goes to the next position. In this case, the next keyframe, which will activate its visibility. So in addition, to create this effect, you will need to apply a texture to a geometry, in this case your face, rig it with the according bones, create a character key set, and then start blocking the animation, in this case creating the principal silhouettes, and finally animating its visibility through its property page. So here we go. Make good use of this tutorial.